Minnesota residents and fans of Garrison Keillor expressed sadness and disappointment at news that he has been accused of improper behavior. Keillor was fired from Minnesota Public Radio Wednesday, November 29, Minneapolis, AP. Garrison Keillor, whose stories of small-town characters entertained legions of public radio listeners for 40 years on A Prairie Home Companion, became another celebrity felled by allegations of workplace misconduct when Minnesota Public Radio terminated his contracts. The homegrown humorist told the Associated Press Wednesday he was fired over a story that I think is more interesting and more complicated than the version NPR heard. Keillor didn't detail the allegation to AP, but he later told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that he had put his hand on a woman's bare back when trying to console her. I meant to pat her back after she told me about her unhappiness, and her shirt was open and my hand went up it about 6 inches. She recoiled. I apologized, Keillor told the newspaper in an email. I sent her an email of apology later, and she replied that she had forgiven me and not to think about it. We were friends. We continued to be friendly right up until her lawyer called. NPR said only that it received allegations of inappropriate behavior against Keillor last month involving one person who worked with him during his time hosting A Prairie Home Companion. Keillor retired as host of the radio variety show last year, but continued to work for NPR on various projects. Caption close. NPR said it had received no other complaints but had retained an outside law firm that was continuing to investigate. Later Wednesday, Keillor gave a statement to NPR News saying he had to respect the privacy of the 2 employees who have made the allegations. A spokeswoman for NPR's corporate arm didn't immediately respond to questions from AP on whether Keillor was accused of bad behavior with more than one person. Keillor's hand-picked successor to host the show, mandolinist Chris Thile, tweeted Wednesday he was in shock after Keillor's firing. Thile had been a frequent musical guest on the show and said he knew nothing about the allegation, adding, "I trust that the proper steps are being taken." Sue Scott, who worked on the show as a voice actor for 24 years with Keillor, told the AP she was stunned. She said she saw no evidence of inappropriate behavior from Keillor. Fans also were shocked. Cindy Dina, of the Minneapolis suburb of Forest Lake, said she frequently listened when Keillor hosted the show and admired him, saying the Minnesota native was iconic. "It's just one more, wow," she said, adding that she hoped the continuous allegations against high-profile men would send a strong message to all men. Keillor's storytelling earned him comparisons with Mark Twain and Will Rogers. His 1985 best-selling book, Lake Wobegon Days, landed him on the cover of Time magazine. A Prairie Home Companion was heard by nearly 4 million listeners a week on nearly 700 public radio stations across the U.S. The year before Keillor left as host.